Are you headed to Alaska this season on a cruise ship? Packing for a cruise to Alaska is entirely different than packing for warmer destinations like Mexico and the Caribbean. We're going to show you exactly what you need to pack for your cruise to Alaska, from clothing to a few stateroom essentials. These 20 items are the ones that I'm certainly not going to travel to Alaska without, and I will tell you exactly why. If you stick around to the end of this video, we promise we will make it worth your while. No nonsense, just packing tips and an Alaska cruise packing list that you can print or download and use right away. If you're new here, I'm Sherry with cruisetipstv.com, and I'd love to invite you to subscribe to our channel. Through over 20 years experience booking cruises and excursions, I help travelers with cruise planning, packing, and destination tips so you can create your dream cruise. I have tons of Alaska cruise tips and content for you that I will link in the description of this video, along with our Amazon store where you can shop for all of it. All right, let's talk about these 20 must-pack items. Are you ready? This is gonna be so fun. I cannot wait. The first thing we have to talk about, it's the quintessential tip that you get when you're traveling to Alaska, and that is to focus your packing on the concept of layers. So things like t-shirts, hoodies, right? Sweaters, jackets, jeans, things like that throughout the day are going to come in so handy, because it's not uncommon for the weather in Alaska to go from maybe 40 degrees Fahrenheit in the morning to as high as something like 80 degrees in the afternoon. It really does happen. So we're going to talk a little bit more specifically about layers a little bit later and what that means when we talk about the clothing that you need to take with you. But let's switch gears for just a moment and talk about a stateroom essential that I never leave home without. And that is some sort of a charging hub for our equipment, our phones, whatever it is that we might be packing. And a lot of people forget to do this when they go to Alaska. And this might be a cruise when you're in Alaska where you have a few extra things that you might want to charge. Maybe you're taking a fancy camera or something like that. So be sure to grab some sort of a charging hub. We like this one because it has a combination of regular outlets and USB and USB-C, but we'll link to several different options that you can check out. Another thing for your stateroom that is essential for Alaska is a laundry hamper. Trust me on this, guys. For some reason, when you go to Alaska and you're doing active excursions throughout the day, you just seem to create a little bit more laundry. I'm not sure why that is, but we're always really glad that we have a small pop-up laundry hamper, just something kind of compact that fits in your closet or kind of out in the stateroom somewhere. These are just so handy, and they really help to keep your stateroom feeling tidy. Another thing that's just pure fun for your cabin or your stateroom are some custom designed magnets. Now, I had these made specifically for Alaska. How cute are these? They are designed with our family in mind. And I have a discount code from Magical Day Creations in the description of this video that you can redeem. You can have them customized, or you can even choose from some that are already made, but have fun with it. Put your family name on there, put your sailing on there, and just have a little bit of flair for your stateroom. All right, this next one is probably the most important thing that you can take to Alaska. It's this tip that we're going to emphasize over and over and over again, and that is that you absolutely want to make sure that you take some binoculars with you. This particular set is kind of compact. They're from a company called Hamper, and they sell them on Amazon. They take up very, very little space in your suitcase, and they're going to allow you to check out up close all of the magical things that you will see in Alaska. Maybe you're looking at some wildlife like bald eagles, you're looking for bears. Maybe it's glacier day and you want to get a close-up look at a glacier calving. This is something you don't want to leave home. Now, people sometimes ask me, do I need to take multiple pairs of binoculars? Is everybody going to be fighting over them? It's something for you to decide. If you're traveling with children and you suspect that they might be like, Mom, Dad, give me the binoculars, maybe you want to take a few of them. I know somebody who actually bought 4, one for their whole family. But again, if you only have one set of binoculars, you will not regret it. At least you'll have something, right? You just need something to to scope out those amazing things with. One time when we were in Alaska, we saw a brand new, just freshly born seal or sea lion on a glacier, and it was the cutest thing ever. And had we not had those binoculars, probably wouldn't have been as exciting. So grab some binoculars and take them with you. I promise you they're worth the space in your suitcase. Our next tip for Alaska, and something that you just really want to take, is a camera. Now that for me generally means, even though I am a content person, that usually just means the latest version of the iPhone. But if you have a DSLR camera or a fancy camera, now is the time to pack it up and take it with you, because you're going to see things that are just absolutely spectacular. Bust out those fancy lenses that have been gathering dust in your camera closet and take that camera. Again though, if you're using your phone, you're going to be so happy that you have it, because guess what? We always say here at Cruise Tips TV, the best camera that you could possibly pack is the one you have and the one that you're going to use. So don't feel obligated to buy something fancy. You don't necessarily need to spend the money, but if you are a photographer, you're going to be in heaven, and it's worth the suitcase space. All right, now let's get back into those layers for a little bit. Let's talk a little bit about cruise fashion for guys and for gals. The first thing that we love to recommend that you take is a variety of hats, a couple of different types of hats. Now, baseball caps actually serve a very distinct purpose in Alaska, and one of those things is to keep the rain off of your face. Now, here's something interesting about traveling to Alaska that a lot of people don't think about. It drizzles quite a bit, right? It could be rainy, it could be drizzly, it could be rainy one moment and completely sunny the next. The fact is, though, a lot of people don't actually pack umbrellas with them when they go to Alaska. So the cool thing about a baseball cap is that you can put a baseball cap on and then pull your rain layer up right over that baseball cap, and you're going to stay totally dry without the use of an umbrella. Now, another type of hat that you're probably going to want to consider is some kind of a warm hat. Really, what you're going to want is a warm hat, and if you would like, I feel like these next two items are kind of optional, some type of a warm scarf. Now, the one that I'm showing you right now is actually an infinity scarf. It's very cozy, and it comes in a 3-piece set with some warm gloves that actually have like text message friendly index fingers, which is really, really cool. So you can get these in our store, like a hat, glove, and scarf combo, or you can buy them individually. If I were to pick just one of these things that I were going to take, it would probably just be a nice warm hat. You might be able to do without the scarf, but I think it's a really good way to add to those layers, and it's going to come in particularly handy on those glacier viewing days. Usually on an Alaska cruise, the coldest day of the year, of the week, not the year. I wish we could all cruise for a whole year, right? The coldest day of the week is probably going to be that day that you're in the glacial passage. Is just really chilly, especially as you approach the glacier. So that's when you're going to bust out the scarf, the gloves, right? And the warm, cozy hat. So take those with you if you'd like. Again, kind of optional, but I would recommend that you do it. The next thing that we recommend for your cruise to Alaska is some sort of a water-resistant shoe. Now, you can take this however you want. You could buy a hiking boot. You could buy a Sperry duck boot that looks like these right here. These duck boots come in men, women, and children's styles. And as you can see, they just have a fully waterproof kind of base. What we like to do actually is buy water-resistant sneakers. And we found some great ones from a brand called Columbia. They come in men's and women's and probably even kids, and they're water resistant. So what happens is that they're not porous. So the water isn't like, leaking into the shoe. A lot of mistakes that are made when someone's packing for Alaska is around shoes and footwear. And porous sneakers are a mistake you really don't want to make. Like a standard walking or running shoe is probably ventilated. And unfortunately, that ventilation also means that water can kind of seep in. So you want to plan on having a water resistant shoe in case it gets a little bit misty. Along the same lines, tip number 10, we're actually halfway through the list already, is to pack some basically some moisture wicking socks. So think of these socks like something that's going to wick moisture away from your foot. When you're on Amazon, you can search for things like dry socks, moisture wicking socks, wool socks, water resistant socks. Things like that are really good because if your feet get wet, you're gonna be cold and you're gonna totally regret it. Okay, back to the layers because we're still talking about clothing here. Let's talk about pants and things to wear on the bottom half of your body, right? I mean, you definitely want to pack things like good old-fashioned jeans. Jeans are great, leggings are great. If you're going to be going on a cruise with any kind of expedition type, activities, like if you're going out on a Zodiac, if you're going canoeing, if you're going to be heading out on some kind of an adventure walk or a hike, you know, you're probably going to want to consider something that's like a little bit more water resistant on the bottom. And you can buy those at sportswear stores or on Amazon. They're pretty easy to find. Okay, so lots of different pants. You might even want to pack a pair of shorts for your Alaska cruise. I recommend it because you never know when you're going to encounter a heat wave. Let's talk about the big one though. The big layering piece in Alaska is of course jackets. And there's so many different types. As you can see from the selection behind me, there's just so many different types, but we recommend that you focus on 2 different types of jackets. The first type of jacket that everyone should pack for Alaska is some sort of a rain layer. The rain layer is going to keep moisture off of you and it can be paired, like I mentioned, with that baseball cap to kind of keep the rain off of your face, right? And this is going to be more of a lightweight layer. Then the second type of jacket that you might want to consider is some kind of a puffer jacket. There's packable puffies, there's regular puffies. This one's actually kind of a longer puffy. There's shorter ones. There's so many different brands of these. You could buy one with a hood or without a hood. But these puffer jackets are going to be more like a warmth layer. So where the rain layer was to keep you dry, the puffer jacket should have a little bit more warmth to it. Now, if you're super organized and you're a really good shopper, what you could try to do is buy one jacket that does both, right? So it's rain resistant and it may potentially also keep you really super warm. In that case, you could do something like this heated jacket from Amazon that actually has little heaters in it. And this one is water resistant and pretty warm, and you could probably use it as your only jacket. But for me and for our family, we generally like to take a lighter rain layer and a puffer. This is my husband's jacket, by the way. And some great brands to look at for that in our Amazon store would be Columbia and the North Face. But jackets are a lot of fun to accessorize. You can play around with your different hats and things like that and just have some fun with it. Let's talk a little bit more about layering on the top. So tops that you might want to consider for Alaska are going to be nice athletic tops or a combination of cotton tops. Something like this with a nice puff sleeve is kind of fun because it has a little bit of a fashionable look to it. It has a little bit of style, but it's made of mostly cotton and it can go from day to night. But you might also want to consider some more athletic pieces that are going to keep moisture away from your body. So lots and lots of t-shirts, hoodies, and layering pieces are really super good. What about formal night in Alaska? What are those formal night things that we always pack? Well, the truth is Alaska obviously runs a little bit cooler at night. So if you're thinking about packing the same way you would for formal night, like on a Caribbean cruise or a cruise to Mexico, where maybe you're doing like a strapless cocktail dress that's short, you might want to reevaluate that and go with something a little bit warmer. So think about something that has a sleeve, maybe a long sleeve or a half sleeve, or think about accentuating your formal night outfit with a nice wrap or a shawl or a scarf, or just something that offers more warmth. I've even seen women do really beautiful pantsuits. You could do something like that, but a longer gown or something with sleeves or both is probably going to be nice for your formal night look. Pack a shawl. Shawls are the best thing ever. Just your evening wear in general though, friends, on an Alaska cruise, that evening wear in general is going to be more casual. On most cruise lines in Alaska, you'll see people showing up to dinner in jeans and sweaters, not necessarily dresses every single night. Okay, so we've covered all the clothing, we've talked about layers. Let's shift gears and talk about some of the other things that you need. Next up, don't forget to pack those motion sickness essentials if you're prone to motion sickness, whether it's those C-bands or some kind of prescription or over-the-counter medication. You want to make sure that you are armed and ready for motion sickness. Interestingly enough, most Alaska cruises are pretty mellow and calm, but if you're cruising earlier or late season or out in open waters, you might just want to be aware that you need a little bit of extra help in the motion sickness department. Next up, do not forget you still need a little bit of sunscreen when you're traveling to Alaska. Now, a smaller quantity of it than a Caribbean or Mexico cruise is totally appropriate, but don't forget your face, your hands, your chest, right? We want to make sure that we take care of our skin even when we are in those colder climates. All right. Packing. We're going to back it up to packing for a moment. Compression packing cubes are phenomenal for Alaska cruises because so many of our clothes are so much more bulky. These compression cubes start off kind of fully open, and then they have an extra zipper around the side that compresses down to bring your clothes down. We have loads of them in our Amazon store. But if you really want to go with something a little bit more basic, you could also consider space saver bags. Now, these really take the air out of your bag and help you to pack really puffy things like your jackets and stuff like that. So if you feel like you've overpacked a little bit, grab these space savers. They come with a pump. You can use a vacuum cleaner to take the air out. You can roll them. There's a lot of different things that you can actually do with different types of compression packing cubes. All right, next up, you need, for your packing game, some water-resistant luggage tag covers. So when you are going to Alaska, if it's a little drizzly on day one, you've got your luggage tag here, and you could just put this right on your suitcase, but better to protect it inside one of these handy little covers so that your luggage makes it safely to your room and it doesn't get wet. Another thing that we love to pack for an Alaska cruise is some sort of an extra bag, like a day bag. I found this adorable, ultra mini, packable, tiny backpack that is perfect for shore excursion days. It doesn't take up much space in my suitcase, and it's just perfect and great for my budget. So I love these, and I hope that you do too. All right, another essential. Oh boy, this one's hard for me to talk about. I think I'm a little traumatized. But another essential for Alaska is bug spray. If any of you live in an area where it gets kind of swampy during certain months of the year and the mosquitoes come out, you know what I'm talking about. But the bugs are not a thing everywhere and all the time in Alaska, meaning you're probably not going to be walking around the cruise ship getting bitten by mosquitoes. When you are going to need bug spray of some sort is if you are going to be going near sources of water, like running water, a stream to see the salmon ladder, right? Or if you're going on a nature walk or a bear walk where you're out in nature and you're near a body of water, be prepared. Without bug spray, you could get eaten alive, especially during certain times of the year. I got completely annihilated by mosquitoes on my late August cruise. I think I was in Ketchikan, and we went on a bear walk, and oh my goodness, I was just covered in them. So make sure you take a small quantity. Off makes great little quantities of them, and it's just a really good thing to take. We're almost done with the list. I just have one more thing and then a bonus tip for you. Another thing you want to make sure you take is a little first aid kit. This one's probably a little bigger than you need, but a first aid kit along with some of your personal medications is really essential for Alaska. Some Band-Aids, ointments, things like that can be found in these little first aid kits. And packing a small quantity of your own medications is always a good idea. We like to put ours in these Ziploc contain the clutter bags. They're sort of fun. They have neat little sayings on them. They come in lots of different designs. And what I love about these is that the base kind of expands, so you're getting a lot of extra space. And it's just easy to access, and you can leave it packed at all times. All right, remember I told you I was gonna give you a bonus tip. So we've gone through the 20 things that I'm packing, and we've got one more that we don't want to forget about before we give you our little surprise here at the end. And that is, do not forget to pack some swimwear for your cruise to Alaska. Your cruise ship will almost certainly have a pool and a hot tub. The pool will probably be heated, and the hot tub might be absolutely irresistible when you're gliding past glaciers, or you've gone on a long hike that day and you're just exhausted, and the idea of resting your weary bones in hot water sounds good. You don't want to sit up and go, oh no, I forgot to bring a swimsuit because I was thinking Alaska. Definitely pack a little swimwear. Pack some flip-flop sandals for the deck. Grab your robe out of your stateroom, and you will not regret a hot tub moment in Alaska. Trust me, it's the best. All right, so here is how to get that amazing Alaska cruise packing list that we promised you. Right down in the description of this video and in the comments pinned to the top, we have a link directly to our Alaska packing do's and don'ts article. Right at the top of that article, you'll find the packing list. You can't miss it. Go check it out, download it, use it, and comment below and let us know if we forgot anything. Of course, this isn't an exhaustive list. This isn't everything in my suitcase, but I wanted to just do the top 20 things that I think you really need for Alaska. What are you packing for Alaska? What ship are you going on this year? Tell me all about it down in the comments of this video. Thank you so much for watching until the end, and until next time, we'll see you on the high seas. Bye-bye.